Okay, so welcome back to project management lecture 5. And this is where we ended the other time. Okay, so I think we did scope management. Okay, if I remember, if I quite remember, scope management, that is the last thing that we ended on, where we saw some series of things on your scope management, work breakdown structure. We saw project timeline, project structure, and we saw a series of things. Yes, I quite remember. Yes, importance of work. What we project schedule. I think we've done all of this one. So I think we are on the time. Yes, so we've done all of these ones using the Agile. So we are on what? On the time. Okay. So this is a review of our last one. Lecture. Okay, review of our last lecture. I think the one that what we completed the other time. Yes. In today's session, we will continue with the four cornerstones of project management. Yes, that is schedule management. But the last time we did scope management. By the time around, we are going to be doing schedule management. Okay, schedule or time management. That is what it means. So we are to understand the importance of um, project schedules and good project time management. And we are to discuss the process of planning schedule management. And then we are to define activities as a basis for developing project schedules. And we are to describe how project managers use network diagrams and dependencies to assist in activity sequencing. And we are to understand the relationship between estimating resources and project work schedules. Okay, okay, so let's take it. All right, so we did the scope as a cornerstone. You see, one thing that we should all know is that the course is only based on these four things. Okay, the course is based on on these four things. These are what we call the cornerstones of project management. That is scope, schedule or time, quality, and cost. Okay, we have the what the triangular one, that is scope, cost, and what and time. But the four cornerstones are there. This is what the course is based on. You realize that what every question that you are being asked, it is on this particular four things, either scope, either time, quality, or cost. Okay. So we did what? Scope in lecture 4. Yes, we did scope in lecture 4. So this is for lecture 5. We are doing what? Schedule management. All right. So what is a project schedule? Okay, a schedule just means what time. Okay, we are trying to arrange what our time. We are trying to check. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, how many hours are we going to use? How many minutes are we going to use to complete this? It is a schedule you plan. Okay, you schedule a meeting. In that way, I know you understand that way. You schedule what a meeting. Okay, you time or what you set forth what a meeting to achieve something or an objective at a particular time. Okay, so it says the project schedule is a tool that communicates what works needs to be performed, which resources of the organization will perform the work, and the time frames. So the last part is what I was talking about. Okay, the time frames in which that work needs to be performed. So taking it again, schedule. Okay, so the schedule is a tool that communicates what work needs to be done. Okay, what needs to be done? As I told you, we need to attain a particular objective. But when I schedule a meeting, the meeting has an objective or an aim. So meaning what? What needs to be performed is the particular what? Objective. Okay, and then the time frame is the time that what you are seeing in here. Okay, so project schedule is a tool that communicates what work needs to be performed, which resources of the organization will perform the work, and the time frames in which that work needs to be performed. And then we have scheduling, is a determination of timing an assembly of project activities to give overall completion of time. Okay, so as simple as that. Okay, it is a determination. Okay, you are determining what a time. Okay, project activities are going to what to take place and complete. Scheduling, arrangement of time on a project. Okay, to give what overall completion of the project. Okay, that is scheduling. So I'm scheduling maybe going to school today. Maybe first of all, maybe I'm going to brush my teeth this morning, and when I'm going to a bath, put on my school uniform. Maybe around some time, I'm going to close from school around 3:30 p.m. And then that is it. So you are determining what a time, okay, for a set of what activities, okay, with a completion time that you are going to finish by this particular time. Okay, so it is a determination of what timing, an assembly of project activities to give what overall completion time. All right. So this one says, what is schedule management? Okay, schedule management. It says, project schedule management involves the processes and methods required to create and manage appropriate schedules to complete the project on time. So it is just like this, okay? It involves what? The processes and methods that is required to create and manage appropriate schedules. Okay, because just know that we will need maybe some kind of tools. Okay, yes, we will need um, some kind of tools or some kind of methods or processes, okay, to create what? Appropriate for schedules, appropriate timing, okay, to complete the project on time. Okay, so that is, it says of management. So at the moment management comes in, it means what? We have what? We have some processes, we have some methods, okay, that we have to put in place to attain what? A particular thing. But just understand that we are doing schedule management for a project. So it is going to just be what? The processes and then the methods, that's what we put in place to create what? Appropriate or what? Proper what? Schedules to complete the project on time. Okay, it says what? Why is project schedule important? And then maybe without opening the next slide, why do you think project scheduling is important? Okay, yes, we have what a lot of reasons why it is important. It is going to what to help you what to plan the project very well. It is going to what to give you a forecast of the project. It is going to help you to know what the time frame or the time at which the project will be completed, and then it is going to also help you, okay, even the people you are working with on the project, okay, you know that maybe you are going to work maybe an hour is 5 cedis or an hour is 10 cedis. It is going to what to help you make those particular calculations. So project schedule is one factor that needs to be considered in the project, okay, and it is also going to help you to reach milestones. When I say milestones, it means that, okay, we divide the project into 5 parts, and then we've done one. Okay, when we do one, meaning what? We finish with the one, left with four. But the one that we finish with is a milestone. The project schedule is very, very important in what? In project, okay? It even shows or gives us a direction where the project is going. Are we going to end the project? Are we going to what? Succeed in the project? Okay, how many, maybe, what is the remaining of the time that what we have to, okay? Or it gives insight, all right? That is what? The importance of project schedule. But let's have a look, okay? So importance of project schedules. Importance of project schedules. They say that what? Managers often cite delivery projects on time. Managers often cite what? Delivering projects, as I said, okay, it helps you to deliver the project on time, okay, as one of their biggest what? Challenges, okay. That is one. We have on budget. Two, we have what? On time. And then three, on target, okay. One, we have what? On budget. Two, we have what? On time. Three, we have what? On target, okay. And then it went on to say that what? Managers often cite what delivering projects on time as one of their biggest what, challenges. Why? Because of what, of budget, two, time, and then three, on target. But for them to be able to relinquish and resolve all of these issues, then they have to take project scheduling important, or project scheduling seriously in here. Okay, before they are able to deal with this particular thing, they have to take project scheduling seriously. Okay, so time is the most precarious element of triple constraint. Okay, when we were starting, I mentioned what the triple constraint was. I said when you are being asked what is triple constraint, it means triple constraint are the three factors, or the three contributors to a project. I mentioned time, I mentioned cost, and then I mentioned scope. So I take it again. The triple constraint of project management is time, is scope, is is cost. But when we say the four cornerstone of a project, we say time, we say scope, we say cost, and then we say quality. Okay, we've done scope. Okay, scope tells us the frame. Okay, or the boundary of the project. Okay, where it should be done, the amount of things that we need. Okay, that is it. It has a particular set of resources that has been set before we start the project. At the moment that's there are changing requirements in the project, okay, meaning the scope is going to expand. That is going to cause what we call the scope creep. Okay, we've done project scope. That is in lecture 4. That's the last video we posted on the channel. But this is lecture 5. That is on project scheduling. That is the time. Okay, this is just as I said, I'm repeating it again. Project management, the whole course is centered on these four things. There is no question that they'll ask you without you seeing any of these four things. It is centered on what? On scope. It is centered on what? Cost. It is centered on quality. And it's centered on time. Okay, so all the questions that you're going to see everywhere in project management is what? It's on these four things. These are the four cornerstones. The reason why we are doing this course. Okay, just to know the scope, okay, to make requirements for elicitation, to know I kind of saying the stakeholders in the project, okay, to know um procurement processes, and then they all fall within these four things. So one thing that you should know about this whole course is you should know there was a scope, the time, the cost, and the quality. And there's the only four things, okay, that makes this course what it is. That's what we are doing. All right. So it says importance of project schedules. Importance of project schedules. Okay. Time is the most precarious element of people constraint. Okay. So time that is within the people constraint, or time within the four cornerstone is the most precarious element. So maybe in section A, you'll be asked, okay, so among all of these elements, or among uh, all of these people constraints, which one among them is the most precarious, or which one among them is most important, which one among them is very, very, very essential. Okay, time, cost, quality, and then they bring scope. Okay, you should know time is the most is the most precarious element of the triple constraint. So time has the least amount of flexibility. It passes no matter what. Okay, it passes no matter, because time can't be restored, time can't be regained. Okay, I don't mean it passes, it passes. Okay, so whatever that you have been within a particular time, you need to know it. If it passes, there's no way. Okay, unless you set it another time. But just know the clock it works in anti-clockwise direction. There is no way it gets back. Okay, so time has the least amount of flexibility. Okay, you have no control over time. It passes no matter what. So schedule issues are the main reason for conflict on on project. Yes, the reason why maybe some projects may not be completed is is timing. That is the most vital issue. Why some projects may not be completed, or some projects may not be successful, or why some projects may not go the way it is supposed to go. It is because there was no proper scheduling. Okay, yes, we didn't do any proper planning on time. You can do planning, but timing is what is different. Timing is what different from the planning. Maybe planning is, maybe I want to get stakeholders. Okay, I want to get what developers. I want to get what users. I want to get what maybe money. I want to get maybe the scope right and the documentation, everything right. But the timing is what is a whole different what element or feature on its own. It's a own different game on its own. Okay, you can get all of these people on board. And if you're not able to plan your time on the project, okay, if they ask you, what time do you think you're finishing the project? Is it 6 months? Fine. Okay, 6 months you give them. But have you really what planned and then what look, okay, maybe we may finish what phase one of the project within maybe 1 week, maybe phase one of the project within what 1 month. But you see, that is why we are saying what time is what has least amount of flexibility. You have no control of. The reason why project fail is because of what? Of time, of time, of time. Just know it is a project that we are working on. Everything can happen. Maybe the key major players or major roles, rollers in the what in the project can maybe have some kind of downside. Okay, maybe they may be sick, something may happen to them. But maybe you plan the time according to what or based on them because you know what the intensity, how faster or the pace they can work at, and then something happens. It is going to slow down the project. So that may be what an issue. So once what planning the whole what, particular project, you need to get what backers for what all of these things. Okay. So schedules issues are the main reason for what for conflict on what on project, especially during the what second half of our project. Okay. And then time robber. So let's look at okay, what elements what robs us of time when we are working on a project. Okay, what steals time? Okay, what steals time? Okay, those activities that those activities that at first seem to be short and obstructive, but when they are all added together can completely fill an entire workday. Okay, I take it again. Those activities that at first seem to be short and unobstructive, okay, but when they are all added together, can completely fill an entire work day, okay. It's what is a task rework. When we say task rework, it means that maybe I give you a task to perform and you didn't do it well. Go and do it again. Okay, we have to do it again. We have to do it again. Okay, just assume. Okay, we knew that this project, we didn't consider reworking in the what? In our time planning. That maybe we thought maybe we would have worked smoothly. But not knowing maybe we've done something for 7 hours and then all what we did there was a mistake. We need to what? To resend and go back and do it again. That is what? The rework. So all the time that you placed in the particular thing that you did has gone to waste. You have to do it again. Okay. And then we also what? Telephone calls and then what? And then emails. We have what? Incomplete work. Okay, some work are there. Maybe you did 90%. Yes, when we come back, we have to continue. Okay, but we even easy. It is incomplete work. Okay, I left it small. Left with the finishing touches. I have to add it to it. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. Another time. Other than then you procrastinated and then you come back. You don't add it again. That is the incomplete work. Okay, and then lack of what? Needed what? Authority. Okay, lack of needed what? Authority. Let's say maybe you've done something, it needs to be assented, or somebody has to add something to it. Somebody needs to assent to it. Okay, but there is no authority, or there is lack of what that authority on it. And then we have in inefficient what change procedures. Okay, okay, assuming okay we are doing something. Okay, we want to change what maybe a requirement, or we want to change what a stage, or we want to change what a particular feature. Okay, because we feel like it is not what complying to what the user requested for. It is not complying to what we needed to convey. Okay, but do we really have what? Do we really have the resource to do that? Okay, inefficient change to what? To a particular what? An inefficient change what procedures. Okay, it's also going to be what a time robber. And then six. Okay, waiting on people. Okay, maybe we are waiting for what? Kojo Menu to come and what? To come and help us do this. Okay. Kojo Menu to say what? He is very busy. He'll be coming next month. He waited, he came, he didn't come. Okay. Next 2 months, he didn't come. But he is one person that we are waiting for. So you see, when doing the whole project thing, you have to reconsider and then consider what? All of these things. Okay. Okay. We have some people that maybe we think maybe we rely on, but we have to also what get what backups. Okay, Because when we wait on people, it is going to be what? A time robber, okay? Let me say maybe you're done with the project, but it's left with what? One particular part that what? That particular person you are waiting on should what? Be complete for you. And then he or she don't come, okay? That is going to be what? It's going to be something. All right. And then seven, too many levels of what? Of review. Small thing, we review their project. Yes. We review. This person has to review. Maybe one project we have what? About what? 10 people were doing reviews. One project we have 10 people doing reviews. Okay. And then it is done in such a way that until the last person what reviews, the project is still what? Incomplete. Just imagine. So we are going to review and review and review and review and review. That is it. So maybe when we are done with phase one, then people have to review their project. Maybe one person reviews 1 week, person reviews maybe another second week, third week, fourth week, until the 10th person before what we continue. That is going to be what time robber in the what in the project. And then casual office conversations, okay? Instead of what? Focusing on the project and what and then working, that is it. Chit chatting comes in, okay? We talk a lot, we talk a lot, we talk a lot. That is what casual office conversations, okay? And then we have what? Poor run what meetings, okay? Poorly run meetings, okay? Instead of we meeting to talk about the project, what is going wrong, what we have to improve on, but when we meet, we talk on what something that doesn't even concern the project at all. So time robbers are classified in this way. Okay, any of them. Okay, task rework. Okay, redoing something again, waiting on somebody. Okay, conversation that doesn't concern the project. Poor meetings. Okay, inefficient change, incomplete work, telephone calls and emails. Okay, so let's okay, there are more. There are more. Okay, 10 says what? Executive meddling or micro what? Management. Okay, executive meddling. Okay, yes, the executive what wants to meddle in the what in their project. Okay, maybe some people have what interest in their project, so they want to what, to meddle in their project, and then what they delay their project. And now we are doing what procurement, and now we have to wait for CEO to come, and now we have to do this. We have to that is it. Yes, okay. People with higher authority comes to meddle in the what in the project. And then 11 says what poorly motivated or educated customers. Okay, poorly what motivated or what educated or customers. And then 12 says what vague goals or objectives, because the goals are not directed, are not what vision directed to the project. Even though we have goals that what we are doing, but it is just what general goals. Okay, it is not specific to the project. Okay, that is going to lead to what to wastage of time. We waste our time on the project. The project should be smart. It should have what an aim and an objective. It shouldn't have what a particular what objective or a particular goal that is not in line with the company or the organization. And then we have what 13, poor time management. Yes, it came in here. Okay, people should come to work at 7 a.m. They come to work at 10 a.m. and things. Okay, that is poor time management. 14 says what poorly defined what project scope. Okay, yes, the processes, the tool that is needed. Okay, for the project to stay within its confines. Okay, not to increase what anything or expand anything on the project. And then what we fail to define the project well. Okay, so the requirements or some of them were missing. That brings what poorly what defined what, because when we talk about this also, it means that maybe instead of letting the stakeholders know that this is what we are doing, we've changed this, we've done that, we didn't what let them understand. When doing project, you have to let your stakeholders, whoever is involved, to come to agreement that this is what we are doing. Or make any change, let them understand that this is what we change. Do they agree before we go on? But the moment you fail to do that, that is what a poorly defined what uh, project scope management. Okay, is a poorly defined what project scope. And then 15 is what company politics. Okay, yes, politics is going to let us stay where we are, even in our country that we are. We know that what yes, we do this, we won't continue. It's the same thing. They play what silly politics. Everybody has what interest. Okay, selfish what interest in the project. And then 16, working on underfunded project. Okay, when there is no money for the project. Okay, that is not going to help. Projects without investment. We have a scan shame here. So how will you do it? So you know we have a lot of what time robbers, a lot of them. Negative what meddling, poorly defined scope, company politics, working on an unfunded project, vague goals, poor time management, and etc. Okay. Okay, so let's look at it. It says 7 steps for creating what? A good project schedule. 7 steps in creating what? A good project schedule. So let's have a look at this. By creating what? A solid this minute. All right, so it says that by creating what? A solid schedule at the start of the project. Okay, by creating what? A solid schedule at the start of the project, project managers can help curb what? Cost overruns. Okay, when you make what? Proper what? Schedule before you start the project, project managers can help what? Curb cost overruns. Okay, resource shortages or excessive what? Change request. Okay, so when you make what? Proper what? Planning of the time, you are able to bypass what we call cost overruns. Okay, yam yam boka and I say yeah, sky and sama yanko baby and then and missing them. Okay, we don't have to overrun what the cost, and then the resources that we need won't short, and then we don't have to be making what changes by changes because what we didn't what plan before starting the project. And then one says what the 7 tips for creating a good project schedule. 7 steps. Please let's pay attention to this particular one. 7 tips for creating what a good project schedule. One says what realize what the importance of the schedule. Okay, we have to realize what the importance of the schedule. Okay, they say that project managers and the project management team often do not put enough emphasis on the schedule. They do not put enough emphasis on the schedule. However, a good schedule touches what every knowledge area and process groups of a guide to the project management body of knowledge. Okay, a good schedule touches what every knowledge area. Okay, the knowledge area there are 10. Okay, we mentioned them another time. We mentioned cost management, we mentioned schedule management, we mentioned human resources, we mentioned even what planning, we mentioned even cost management, we mentioned scope management. Okay, you mentioned there are 10. There are 10. Okay, so it says what? However, a good schedule touches what every knowledge area and process groups. Process groups are what are 5. Okay, initiation. Okay, those initiation, planning, execution, and controlling and monitoring, and then what the exit. Okay, those are the process groups. Okay, and then it says what? For example, if a potential slip in the schedule is identified, the project manager would address it through the project what, issues and risk processes. Okay, so if there what, is a potential slip, that means potential slip means that what? Okay, there's something that can arise. So project we cry by do baby idea something can happen. You cannot you can recognize or you can identify it earlier. So then yes, it is a potential. Say a bit that is what they mean. Okay, if a potential slip in the schedule is identified, project manager would address it through the project's issues and risk processes. Okay, schedule changes can affect any area of the project and can have what downstream impact. Okay, so 7 tips of creating what a good project schedule says what you have to realize the importance of what project schedule, and then we said this project managers do not take what project scheduling what serious together with their team. Okay, that is what we mentioned right here. Then if there is what any slip in the project, it should be identified and then addressed or to enrich for processes. Okay, two says what identify the availability of team members. Okay, that's I said. That then say obi yare baako na ebi ɔno na ebi a ɔbɛtumi abɔ project ne pan na sɛ ebi a ɔyare a ɔno sɛ project no it is going to slow down. Okay, so we have to identify the availability. And you know, you can't also predict availability for people. So you have to just get the backers. And then if you are waiting, you are waiting to be at 9. That is the only thing you can do. Because yes, health is not assured. Okay, you don't really owe health. All right. So it says what? Identify the availability of the team members. Okay, a resource inventory is needed to plan the whole project and to decide which part you will take to execute the project. Who will be available to work on the project? Are there any holes or will any team member be stretched too thin? This is especially important in environments where budgets are tight and many organizations hesitate to take on more staff members. Okay, once the project team has been established, ask for their input on the schedule to ensure it is reasonable. Okay, so it says what? This is especially important in environments where budgets are tight, right? And many organizations hesitate to take on more staff. Okay, once the project team okay has been established, ask for their input on the schedule to ensure it is reasonable. Okay, we have to ask, okay, you what can you do? You two, what can you do? So we have to to get that and then put it into an inventory. Okay, we have to know what everybody can be able to do. And just remember to also, if you are in a company, okay, where the project that you are working on, the money that they have is not many, plenty. Just so that maybe the company is not going to even hire a lot of people on the project. Okay, they find it difficult to get more people on the project. Okay, but even yes still, even to get the team members, just ensure that what can any of them do? Okay, do they have anything that is in compliance or that is in direction with the project? Then if yes, then fine. And then three says what? Build the schedule around what? Deliverables. Okay, the planning and the time should be around the end product or the software or the service or whatever that it is that we are going to deliver at the end of the project. Okay, so we can deliver maybe a product, can deliver a software, can deliver what a service, we can deliver what a hardware, anything. Okay, but just make sure that what we build the schedule or the time around the deliverables. It is human nature to want to build a schedule around tasks, but that method can cause problems. Okay, the flaw the flaw with that approach is that a scheduler cannot easily tell if a stakeholder change is actually within the project scope. Yes, that is the problem. You can't tell what time a stakeholder will come and say, then you said, yes, I agree. You penny say, you penny say, you say, my, you understand? Yes, so a scheduler cannot really tell when maybe a stakeholder might come to change his or her mind on something. Okay, so project schedulers should build the schedule around what deliverables. Okay, because they are what they are tangible. Okay, if it's a product fine, then may software way. All right, That is yes. You say that is some way tangible, intangible. But if it is maybe a biscuit, one is the product is a biscuit, and it's a bottle, and it's maybe it's a glass. You understand? Maybe anything that is tangible that you can touch. Okay, yes, then that is fine. Okay, so project should be built. Okay, uh, project schedule should build the schedule around what deliverables because they are tangible. Okay, they are verifiable and must meet predetermined standards to be complete. All right, so Paul says we should include what regular milestones. Okay, so make what the project name of 5 phases: phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four, phase five. Nti yɛwie phase one ne nyinaa ɛpa kyerɛ sɛ dɛn we put a milestone. Okay, yɛka sɛ dɛn yɛbɛdwane afiri ti ha se akɔ Kasoa. Okay, yɛbɛkɔ Kasoa akɔsi ewia Cape Coast. Nti yɛkɔɔ fiti ase kɔsi Kasoa no, that is a milestone. We've been able to achieve something. So milestones are just what achievements. Okay, yes. So it says what it would include what regular milestones. Okay, that means establish milestones within the what the schedule and check those milestones frequently. Okay, that way If a project lasts for 8 months, you do not get to month 4 and realize you are getting to be late. Yes. Okay. So if you miss what milestones that occur in the first couple of months of the project, you know whether the project is what is on schedule. Exactly. Okay. Five says what? Expect that the schedule will change. Yes. Just know the schedule can change. Okay, as I told you, okay, you don't what expect everything to what to be on time. You don't what expect that is what some people might be able to do what a project within 1 month, but they'll tell you 6 months because even though it's mine in 1 month, but when it is on a 3 months, it's not say yeah, yeah, but in yes, yeah, we are not say be able to connect you when an emergency because they can't maybe be fully focused on this particular project alone. Anything can happen. So just what expect that the schedule will change. So you have to realize that the schedule is not permanent because project tasks and stakeholder needs constantly what fluctuate, okay, or the changes. Okay. The project schedule is really an assumption about what might happen, yes. So the schedule is just what an assumption, what we are assuming that then it can be like this or it can be like that. Okay, it is just what an assumption that it can be what it can be like this or it can be like that. Yes. So it is your job to continue to understand the reason for any variances. Okay, it is your job to understand the reason for any variances and make appropriate changes to the schedule to meet changing project landscape. This would include what a contingency plan. Okay, going to include what a contingency plan. Okay, so we should also expect that the schedule will be changing with time. Okay, so 6 says what? Have a process for managing a change. So okay, there is a change. How are we going to manage or how are we going to go by this? We should have what? A process, a procedure of how we are going to be changing things. Okay, who should it what? Go to? Should we get somebody sitting as a poster? That then, oh, okay, Shimumai, we want to change something in the project. What do you think? Is this right? Okay, fine. Okay, then we have what? A team. Okay, then we have to halt the ongoing what procedures and then we have to tackle where we want to change. You just have what? A process. Okay, a procedure to be making changes in the project. Okay, so project managers must be willing to shift gears to help what a project stay on track. Okay, project managers must be willing to shift gears to help what a project to stay what, on track. You have to establish what a threshold that triggers the change control process. For example, if a proposed change would make the project more than what a day late, okay, if a, what, a proposed uh, if a proposed change would make the project more than a day late, the client the client or a change control board must first approve it. However, be cautious against making changes out of the scope. Let the changes be within the scope. Make sure say if you have the idea or what the clients and the client say, okay, I want to make a change. Now there may be some features that are the same. So then if the features are the same, that is going to make the time plain to say then we can't finish uh, the project within that particular time. Maybe we initially planned no. Okay, so just be cautious and then what? Be sure that that changes that you are making is not going to go out of scope of the project. And then the last one is 7. Watch for what? Hangers. Watch for hangers. Okay, it says a basic scheduling rule is that every task should have at least one predecessor and at least one successor. Okay, I take it again. A basic scheduling rule is that every task that's what you are doing should have a, a process or a procedure or a task that comes before it, and then one task that comes what also after it. Okay, that is why sometimes you have this list. Okay, that you prepare. That maybe when you do task 1, you mark. Task 2, you mark. Task 3, you mark. So you know that maybe I finish with what? With task 1 before coming to task 2. So task 3 is the one that is what is after task 2. You know, okay, my task 1, I'm on task 2, so task 3 will hold. Okay, so everyone. basic scheduling rule is that every task should have at least one predecessor and at least one successor. Okay, and then the obvious exception, okay, the obvious exception is the project start milestone, okay. The obvious exception is the project start milestone, which has no predecessor. Because yes, just know that when you're starting a project, the milestone, any BBR, okay, one is started from A, B, C, D, and I 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, say 1, 2, 3, 4, there's zero in a kind. But they in a kind. Okay, just know that's what. When you start a project, that is a milestone, okay? There is nothing that comes before that particular one. That is what there is no what predecessor. Okay. Uh and the project completes what? A milestone. Okay. So you say at the end of the project, maybe Z, nothing comes after Z. Yeah, we also be the end. So that is the closing date of the project or the closing of the project. So before starting, we have no predecessor, and afterward, after completing to we have nothing like that. All right. After completing, we have no successor. Successor means what? After we finish, there's nothing more to do again. All right. So when a task lacks what? Predecessor and or successor, the task has a hanger. Okay. It has a hanger, meaning what? It doesn't have what? Something that comes before it doesn't have what? One that comes after it. Okay, which is what? An unintended break in the project network diagram. Okay, it is a break in the what? Project what? Network diagram. Okay, so we've looked at for 7 phases of creating what? A good project schedule. First of all, we said what? We said realize what? The importance. Okay, we have to what? To know or to identify the importance of what? Uh, scheduling. Okay, we said that what? Project managers do not take or emphasize on scheduling with the project team. Okay, even though this is a very good word, knowledge area. Okay, on the project, and then two, so we have to identify the availability of team members. Okay, is everybody going to be there? Do we have the money to put everybody on board? Okay, that is the what identify the availability of the team members, and then three says we have to build the schedule around what deliverables. Okay, the schedule that we are doing should come around the product, the service, or the whatever that it is. Okay, because that is what matters. Because at the end of the project, what are you bringing to the people? A software, bring the software. Okay, a two now, yeah, bring the two. A bag now, yeah, Fabra. That is the deliverable. Okay, so the time should come around that particular thing. And then 4 says what? We have to include what? Regular milestones, okay? So if we achieve or we attain something, we put it what? Right there. And then we should expect that the schedule will change, okay? Just be expecting if you put it on that the project or the schedule must or will change. Okay, and then we should have what? A process for managing what change. And then 7, we should watch out for what hangers. Hangers are just like what? Having tasks without what? It's a sign what? And successes. Okay, so the next one says, what are the time management processes? Okay, what are the time management processes? Okay, so let's have a look at this. Project time management processes. Project time management processes. Okay, so first of all, we have what? Plan schedule management. Okay, we have to what? Plan schedule management. Okay, this is what? It determines what? Policies, procedures, and documentation that will be used for planning, executing, and controlling the project schedule. Okay, and then two, we have to define activities. Okay, that is what we identify the lowest level of the work on the work breakdown structure that needs to be performed to create the finished work product schedules. And then three, we have to sequence activities. Okay, that is what we have to identify and document logical and sometimes physical relationships among what schedule activity. Okay, so project time management processes. Okay, some of the processes that what we put in place. First of all, we have to what to plan. Okay, we have to plan. That is what plan. Let me say plan. Okay. Secondly, we have to what define activities. What are we going to do? And three, sequence. Then they did the 80. Okay, then they be kind, right? After you, what comes? After this, what comes? So first of all, we have to plan. Secondly, we have to define activities. Three, we have to what? Sequence activities. And then four, we have to estimate activity resources. Okay, we have to estimate how many resources the project team should use to perform project activity. And then five, we have to estimate activity duration. Okay, we have to estimate activity duration. Okay, that is what we have to estimate the number of what errors that are needed to complete individual activity. And then six, we have to develop what schedule. Okay, we have to develop what schedule. We have to analyze activity sequences, activity resources estimate, and activity duration. Okay, to create a project schedule. Okay, develop for the schedule as well. And then seven, we have to control the schedule. So remember that first of all, we did planning. Secondly, uh, afterward, after we do, we have to define what activities. Okay, after we define the activities, we have to what to sequence them. Okay, which one goes after which one. Okay, and then after we do that one, we have to estimate what activity, and then we have to the duration of each activity, and then we have to develop a schedule and then control the schedule. All right. So this is the same thing. So this is the planning. We have to plan or schedule management. We have to schedule management plan. Uh, on the planning, secondly, we have to define what activity. Okay, activity list, activity attribute, milestone list, project management, plan update. Then we have to sequence. Okay, project schedule network diagrams. Project document, that is the sequence. What comes first? What comes next? What comes last? What comes in the middle? And then we have to estimate activity resources. Okay, yes, maybe you take once a day, you take five, so there's this and that. We have to estimate activity durations. Okay, maybe project A or maybe activity A is going to take what? Maybe 5 minutes, activity B, 10 minutes, activity C, maybe 20 minutes. And then we have to develop what? A schedule. Okay, yeah, developing a schedule. All right, and then I think we move on. All right, so where do schedules come from? Okay, where do schedules come from? Since we have four steps. Okay, first of all, we have to build the work breakdown structure. Okay, work breakdown structure is what is the division of what of tasks. Okay, division of tasks into what into like something like maybe segment. Okay, so you take one, you take two, you take three, and then you take four. All right, and then what you work on them what separately, separately, separately. Then until what until you get the last task for done. And then secondly, it says that what plan or schedule management. Okay, so where those schedules what come from? Okay, when building what work breakdown structure, when planning schedule management. Okay, when defining what activity, and when sequencing activities and what assigning proper activity dependencies. Okay, so step one. All right, I think it's the same thing. Okay, from this particular project time management processes. Okay, the same thing as what we have in here. Okay, so step one says what we should plan what schedule management. Okay, plan schedule management. Okay, so the project team uses what expert judgment. Expert judgment just means that maybe you know some experts in the industry who have worked on a project like this before. So we want to meet them and then ask, okay, when they work on the project, how much or maybe how many times did they use and then this and that and that and that. That is what expert judgment. Okay, so whatever they say is what is what you are also going to use. Okay, and then you can also use what analytical techniques. Okay, analytical techniques right there, and then you can also what develop the schedule management plan. So a schedule management plan includes what schedule management plan includes what project schedule model development, the scheduling methodology, the level of accuracy and unit of measure, the control threshold, the rules of performance measurement, reporting format, and process descriptions. Okay, so all what the planning phase is trying to tell us is that what we can plan what the project together with the project team, maybe based on what the expert, whatever the experts are judging, okay, whatever what the experts are really judging in here, okay. So we can use that to plan and develop the schedule management of the project. And then two, defining what activities, as I said, you have to define them. Okay, activity one, you better win. Two, you better win. Three, you better thing. You have to define it. Okay, We have to define them what? Into what? Into detail. Okay. We have to define it what? Into what? Into detail. All right. Activity, an activity or task is an element of what of work normally found on the what on the work breakdown or structure that has an expected duration, a cost, and a resource requirement. Okay. An activity is an element of work normally found on the work breakdown. Okay. It is normally found on the work breakdown structure that has an expected duration, a cost, a resource requirement. Okay. Activity definition involves developing a more detailed work breakdown structure. Yes, a more detailed work breakdown structure and supporting explanations to understand all the work to be done. So you can develop realistic cost and duration estimate. Okay, and then depending on the technique used to create the work breakdown structure, typically the work packages are built by decomposing current activity down into smaller and smaller units of work. Each activity is decomposed into smaller and smaller units until the deliverable can be assigned to a person who is held responsible for the execution of the task, or time and cost estimate can be accurately generated. And then before the schedule is created or metrics are attacked. So all what define activities is trying to say that we have to define what detailedly, okay, the exact thing that we are doing, that particular activity right there. Okay. When we are able to do that, it helps us to even to get the task done better. Okay. We can also do that by by breaking down current activities into smaller units until we overcome it to reach a milestone. Okay. And then three says milestone. It is a significant event that normally has no duration. Okay, it has no duration. Not every deliverable or output created for a project is a milestone. Okay, if it often takes several activities and a lot of work to complete a milestone. It often takes several activities and a lot of work to complete a milestone. They are useful tools for settling or setting schedule goals and monitoring progress. Examples include obtaining customer sign off on key documents or completion of specific products, such as software models or the installation of new hardware. Okay, examples of milestones include customer sign off. Okay, on key documents. So when a customer signs that hey, I'm now okay, I'm not satisfied on the project, so I've signed. That is a milestone. Okay, if maybe we develop a software model, maybe a feature, that is a milestone. If we are able to install a new hardware, that is a milestone. Okay, so milestones are what are being placed in the Gantt chart right there. Okay, so after we complete one, two, three milestone, one, two, three, four milestone. Okay, so that is a milestone. Step three, sequence of activities. Okay, after defining the project activities, the next step is activity sequencing. It involves reviewing the activity list and attributes. Okay, it involves reviewing the activity list and an attribute. Project scope statement. Okay, project scope statement. Milestone list and approve change request to determine the relationship between activities. Okay, so it involves reviewing the activity list and attribute. Okay, project scope statement and milestone list and approval change request to determine the relation between activities. Okay, a dependency or relationship is the sequencing of project activities or tasks. You must determine correct dependencies to create a list schedule. Okay, so what you are talking about in here is that okay, maybe I want to do a particular task, but you know that this task is maybe related to task A and task B are somewhat related. Meaning what? If I finish A and I continue with B, but I can't go and take task Z and relate it to task A. It doesn't work that way, okay? So the dependencies and the relationships should should also to match up. Alright, so task dependencies, okay? This one says the nature of the dependencies between linked tasks, okay? You link tasks by defining a dependency between their finish and their start date. Okay, you link tasks, okay, by defining what a dependency between their finish and their start date. For example, the contact papers, okay, the contact papers task must finish before the start of the determined menus. There are four kinds of task dependencies in Microsoft Project. Okay, so this is what task dependency. Okay, finish to start. That is what FF. Start to finish. Start to start. Okay, that is finish to start. You finish A before you go to B. This one, you start A and then you start B. Okay, you start A to start B. All right, you don't finish. Okay, yes, you say finish to what to finish. Okay, you have to finish. Okay, and then once you finish this one too as well. Okay, and then start to finish. This one we start from A and then we finish as what as B. Okay, but A says to finish to start. Okay, you have to finish before A starts. This one is start to start. You have to start A automatically, B starts, and then finish to finish says what we have to what once we finish what we finish A, we finish B as well. Okay, and then start to finish says that what we have to start A and then B. So let me give you the description from here. Okay, case of task B cannot start until task A is finished. So that's why I said okay, finish to start. You have to finish A before we can start a B, and then we have start to start. Okay, task B cannot start until A starts. So the moment A starts, B starts automatically. That is start to start. And then we have what? We have finish to finish. Okay. Task B cannot finish until task A finishes. Okay, so yes, finish to finish. You have to finish A for B to also finish. And then task B cannot finish until A starts. Okay. So we start from A and then what? We end with B. This is what? Task dependency types. Okay. We have four of them. Task dependency types. Okay. Finish to start. And then start to finish to finish, and then start to start. So there are four. And then we have, yes, the same way, okay, task activity dependency types, okay, finish to start, finish coding model before unit testing, okay, you have to finish coding before you test, and then here, start on training model after the use case started, okay, after the use case start, you have to also start training the model, so it's like something like simultaneously, okay, something like maybe you're doing something simultaneously, all right, and then we have also finish we have also something like finish to finish. You can't complete a training model until user interface model is complete. And then we have also a start to finish, okay, which says what? A phase out what legacy system, okay, can't finish until X days after new system start acceptance testing. Okay, you have to start maybe clearing out legacy systems from the organization before what we can enroll the new system. All right, so network diagrams, okay. Let me see, where are we? We are right here. So network diagrams, okay. Let me have a look at this. Yes, I'm thinking if we should continue with this, well, this is what, very critical and very crucial. Okay, I'll be, I'll be glad maybe the others were also right here. Okay, maybe in case maybe there are questions and this and that. Okay, but let's do this way. Um, maybe we'll end here for today. Okay, we started from time management or schedule management. Okay, looking at what why you need schedule management. Okay, um, how we can do schedule a management as well. Okay, and I think yes, I think we look at what its importance, what it is, what it does to project. Okay, and then some of the time robbers. Okay, and then we've gotten to what? To the activity dependency types as well. So we have to look at the network of diagrams. Okay, but with this, as I'm saying, maybe our lives, the other source will also be here. So what we'll do is maybe we'll have to end here, and then maybe probably tomorrow, we'll start from this side. Okay, we start from this particular side, and then what? And then we will end. Okay, so I think I want to end the meeting here on the network diagrams. Okay, that is crucial because whatever you do, you find this in the exams. Where then even who exams me. Okay, so not what to run up. Okay, and then what run faster, and then so to maybe uh, make things or emphasize on things well on this particular uh, diagrams. I think we'll have to end, and then tomorrow we'll take it from the network diagrams. Okay. So until what? Until we meet tomorrow. Okay. The name is Family Plus, and I'm out. Watch out, please. Shalom. Okay. Bye bye.